All right, so welcome to your November flow. November flow. You're going to be starting on your back with a band, and we're going to start with just a really gentle hamstring stretch. So putting that band around your foot, you can kind of emphasize a contract, relax. So give a little pressure to that band, push away, and then let your leg relax and allow yourself to pull and get a really gentle hamstring stretch. Again, use this as an opportunity to have an active stretch. So again, give that band a little bit of resistance and tension, push back against it, and then allow yourself to relax. Then we're going to start with bending at the knee and then straightening that leg, and then extending it out to the side. So when you're extending it out to the side, you can hold it with the hand that's on the same side and then relax your other arm out to the side. Again, striving to make this a more active stretch with using that band as a little bit of additional resistance. Then switching your feet out. Same thing when you switch sides. You might find that one side is a little bit tighter than the other. One side might feel a little bit looser. But again, use that band as resistance, push against it, and then allow yourself to relax fully into that stretch. And then again, bringing it out to the side. Again, you want to be able to relax that leg as close to the floor as possible, and then also be pulling that band up toward your shoulder. So you should be getting a really good stretch on the inside of your thigh there. Then again, bringing it up to the top, your leg should feel a little bit more loose now, and you should be able to get a slightly deeper stretch. Then you're going to be crossing your left leg over your right and holding at the back of your right leg. So this is a good stretch for the glutes and for the outside of that left hip. A modification for this would be pigeon pose, where you're laying on that hip, but supine is a really nice way to get it going. And then switching sides, crossing that right leg over the left, and again holding at the back of that left leg. Oh, which is funny because if you look in the background, Trisha is actually doing the modification for this, which is pigeon pose, and she has that leg tucked underneath her. So this is a fun reminder that when you have things set up, it's not always going to be perfect. As I was recording this, I had lots and lots of fun visitors that were coming in and out of the gym. So just here's your reminder that your training never has to be perfect. Sometimes your mobility is going to be interrupted by kids. Sometimes it's going to be interrupted by lots of other people that are at the gym. The best laid plans often go awry. So if you're getting in your movement today, there I was grinning because everyone was walking through. So here you're using a band. You can also use a PVC pipe for this. This is shoulder threading. It's also been called shoulder dislocates, but that makes less sense. So shoulder threading. You can use a band for this to give yourself a little extra resistance. You can use a PVC pipe. The biggest thing is you want all of your fingers to be in contact. So if your hands are popping off that bar, then you want to widen your hands a little bit. If you're not feeling much of anything, bring your hands a little bit more narrow. So then sitting back into child's pose, give yourself just a little bit of stretch through that upper back, a little bit of breath work, and just relax. And again, coming back into that child's pose. Really focus on your breathing here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, and just take a little bit of time to relax. Then we're coming into a plank and pushing back into down dog. So this is just some active shoulder mobility. So pushing, going from a plank back into down dog. We're looking at really engaging those shoulders, engaging that core, being able to make this an active movement. Walking those feet up. Again, you should feel a really good stretch through the back of your hamstrings here. And then going into that pigeon pose, my left leg is tucked beneath and just folding over that leg. If you need to modify this, you can keep your upper body upright and keep your hands, palms on the ground, and just keep your upper body completely up. If you're feeling like this isn't quite enough, again, lean forward over that leg, and you can also reach for that back leg as well. Those are both the regressions and the progressions that you can take with this pose in particular. Then tuck that toe, push back to down dog, and switch legs. Same thing, you might find that there's one leg that feels significantly looser than the other. You might find that with one, you're able to really get a good stretch, and the other one needs a little bit of TLC, and that's completely fine. So now we're gonna move to a side lying position, and you're gonna go into what is called an open book stretch. So as you exhale, your arms are gonna open, and you're gonna open that chest. As you inhale, you're gonna slide those hands together, so the palms together, and then exhale and open. You can do this at your own speed, anything like that, but just follow your breath work with this. And you can also take a few breaths when you're in that open chest position. Just take a few breaths and hang out here. You should feel a really good stretch and some rotation through that thoracic spine. But we're gonna do a total of 5 on each side. And then switching sides. Same thing, you'll be able to see a little bit better on this side. Inhale, slide those palms across, and then exhale and open. Same thing, inhale. You can see I'm actually sliding one of my palms slightly beyond the other one, just kind of getting a little bit more rotation on that thoracic spine. Couple more. Then coming down to hands and knees. We're going to move into a cat-cow stretch, which this is pretty much a staple in my mobility routine. Anyone that deals with a tight upper back, tight shoulders, carries a lot of tension in their neck, anything like that, this is a really, really good stretch. It also forces you to be really present with your breath work. Again, as you inhale, you're gonna let that belly drop. And then as you exhale, push everything out, round through that back. And this is another one that move at the speed of your own breath. There's no rushing with this. Allow it to take a little bit of time. So then moving into that body weight squat, using those elbows to push those knees out and sit as comfortably as you can in that deep squat. And then straightening up, we're getting another good hamstring stretch right there. And we're just going to be going back and forth from a body weight squat to a hamstring extension, hamstring stretch. You can see we've got some fun things going on in the background. Again, this is your reminder that your movement doesn't ever have to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, and sometimes you're just showing up and getting it in. Sometimes there's going to be distractions, there's going to be kids running around, there's going to be just all sorts of crazy things going on in life. So the fact that you're able to show up and do it, the fact that you're moving in a way that supports your body and supports your goals is good enough. Couple more here. In the background, we've got some rolling like a ball, it looks like. Again, staying with that same hamstring stretch. So we're going to go to a kneeling hip flexor stretch here. The biggest thing to keep in mind is you want to keep your core engaged. So think about tucking your ribs to the top of your hip bones and driving that hip forward to get a good stretch through that hip flexor. You just don't want to be dumping into your low back and allowing that core to be completely disengaged during this stretch. You want to keep all of these movements as an active and intentional movement. And then switching sides, same thing, tucking those ribs to the top of that hip bone and driving that hip forward, really keeping it as an active stretch. You can tuck your toes in the back, or you can have your foot flat, whatever is most comfortable for you. Then coming back to hands and knees, back into child's pose, and you're gonna walk your hands over to the right. You should feel a pretty good stretch through that left lat, just being in that position. And then walking it all the way over to the left. Then coming back into down dog, you should feel like you've got a little bit more stretch, a little bit more ability there. All right. Thank you so much for showing up for this flow in November. Have a wonderful day.